for about 2 weeks. They finished the ladies yesterday, and today was the men's turn. And at the Australian Open, they saved the best for last, at least as far as the home folks were concerned. A brand new $60 million tennis complex, and what a better way to christen the place than with a victory by a native son. Well, that wasn't to be. Sweden's Mats Wilander was down 2-1 against Australia's own Pat Cash, but Wilander, the third seed, battled back to beat the hometown favorite. A grueling 5-set marathon that lasted nearly 4.5 hours, not counting rain delays. It is the third Australian Open title for Wilander, the 5th Grand Slam victory of his career, as you see the set scores coming up. Second straight year that Cash has lost in the final of his country's national championship, so the $105,000 in first place money will go to Wilander. Meanwhile, in ladies doubles, who else but Martina and Pam Shriver, the 6th straight year they've won it all at the Australian Open, today beating Chris Evert and Wendy Turnbull. If it's a Grand Slam doubles, you then figure Martina and Pam as the favorites. They've now won 18 of the biggies. College basketball in the Battle of Tobacco Road, North Carolina against NC State. The second-ranked Tar Heels grabbing the early advantage. Pete Shilton going coast to coast, but I think Dean Smith won a little pass there. The Heels led by 10, but in the second half, the Wolfpack chipped away. When Vinny Del Negro put that one in, the game was tied at 65. But UNC surged down late. Scott Williams finally put it in underneath as North Carolina holds off NC State 77-73. J.R. Reed had 17. Elsewhere, Georgetown halts a 3-game losing skid, knocking off Syracuse 69-68. Undefeated and third-ranked Temple leading UNLV 53-47 now in the second half. Michigan takes out the defending national champ 72-60. And just underway, the Arizona Wildcats putting their 17-1 record on the line against UCLA in the Pac-10. Now, why are the Wildcats number one? Well, one big reason is Steve Kerr. He wasn't even expected to be playing this year, but boy, is he ever. Gary Miller has more on the Arizona ace, who's a well-traveled sort.
He was born in Beirut, Lebanon. He's lived in France and Egypt. But Steve Kerr feels at home running the offense for the Arizona Wildcats.
I've said he's the glue, and I think that's true. Certainly, we would not be where we are without him.
It's no coincidence that Arizona is number one, and Steve Kerr has returned to the lineup. It was 16 months ago at the World Championships in Spain when Kerr's head said shoot and his legs said pass. The doctor said, your career is over. As far as knee injuries go, this one was top of the line. Kerr was presented his gold medal lying on his back in a hospital bed. Kerr, who was set to graduate last year, was granted another year of eligibility. He spent the season watching his teammates and watching the slow rehabilitation process of his injured knee.
The injury was the best thing that's ever happened to me because, and I mean that honestly, and the reason I say that is because this year I've had a chance to play on the #1 team in the nation. If I hadn't been hurt, and I wouldn't have been able to play on this team. And this is really the highlight of my entire athletic career, is playing on this team.
Steve Kerr has learned to look for the bright spot in tragedy. 4 years ago, his father, who was the president of American University in Beirut, was assassinated. 2 nights later, a moment of silence was held in Malcolm Kerr's honor. Moments later, his son silenced Arizona State with 5 3-pointers. With his mother living in Cairo teaching high school, Steve Kerr has found a new family in his teammates. His nickname is Opie, as in Opie Taylor. But considering what he's been through, call him Steve Courageous.
Speaking of courageous, the Florida State Hoops team continues to hold down the top spot of the Metro Conference. For the latest in Seminole basketball, tune in to Pat Kennedy Live, time and date change. It'll air tonight at 8 o'clock on W17AB in Tallahassee. Now to the NBA, Atlanta hosting the Nets. What a sorry-looking bird. Thank goodness the Hawks have the winged wonder who can fly. Dominique put in 31 on the day, helping the Hawks to a 10-point lead at the half. Atlanta increased the margin to as many as 17, but somehow let it slip away. New Jersey came back to cut the margin to 4. Pearl Washington taking it the distance. But Atlanta got help from the bench. Antoine Carr came off to nail 19. Here he'll follow Dominique Smith. The Hawks win 118-111. And the victory gives Atlanta's Mike Fratello the honor of coaching the East in next month's All-Star game. How about it? Now to Washington for the long and short of it. Manute Bol and Muggsy Bogues. This one looked like a circus. Steve Coulter blows the routine inbounds pass, but it was just beginning. Moses Malone with the ball, and watch the hands. He loses it. Well, old Moses is going to get it back right here, but the way things are going, he better get rid of it. Right pass? Well, not to the bench, Moses. The coach doesn't like it. Charles Barkley doesn't like it. 3 rings today. Even the Sixers were guilty. Poor pass in the paint. The Bullets get it up to Bogues, the little guy, goes in for Washington. Now, how can a game like this possibly end? Well, final play, Bogues will get it, and he'll just throw it up. And just like the Globetrotters, it falls from 3 points. Washington going on to beat Philadelphia 131-99. It was that kind of day. Elsewhere, Indiana taking out Phoenix 128-109. And the game you just saw here on Channel 6, the LA Lakers take out Seattle 116-109. And finally, some juicy gossip to officially begin the clamor of Super Bowl week. The Washington Redskins put in their final workout at home yesterday before jetting off to San Diego. And following the practice, the Skins were treated to a little inspirational talk by none other than Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, and I suspect they'll be sufficiently gung-ho after that. The forecaster reports 13 hours of good fishing for Monday morning, noon, and night, with the best beginning at 4 in the afternoon, running all the way until 10. So tight lines and good fishing. I don't suspect a lot of folks will be fishing a whole lot with the temperatures I heard Mike talking about.
No, they're going to be
fishing or hunting.
formidable.
That's sports.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay.
And still to come, some shining stars from the Tube when Eyewitness News returns.